and yeah, I'm really looking forward to this, and I think it's going to be a really good chat. So I'm just bringing in Michael now. Hi.
Hey.
Finally, hello.
Oh, you said you think it's going to be really good. Oh, you're going to be so disappointed.
Well, if we get started talking about like horror and all of these other things, it's gonna be something.
It'll go to a place. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay, so I was going to say the first thing was that I was fortunate enough to see you play in the UK
Mm.
when you were there. I can't even remember what year that was now, but it was when I was living there.
Yeah.
And it was just you and Ben
Yeah.
at that point. And yeah, it was like, because you're fucking tall. Like, I don't know if people realize that. You're like super, super tall, and I'm super, super short.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I remember immediately recognizing you guys as I went in and you know, doing the hellos and all that stuff. But I remember watching you guys and thinking there's this like super tall guy who's like tiny but super tall and just like seriously vicious on like when you're playing, like just like so intense. And you know, and it was just like amazing to watch. And then just like you and Ben, the dynamic between the two, and just your vocals are fucking primal, and
Thank
like
you.
like, you know what I mean? And like I love it. And then the noise, and then like, you know, it's very like you've got that, I just can't believe it comes from your mouth, like, because because you're so little, like, but tall. So you're like a bean tall, but there's this like really frightening voice that comes out. Like, how the shit did you just like learn yourself to sing like that, or did you just like go
I
up
mean,
there and
yeah,
scream?
I, I mean, I've been doing it for a pretty long time now. You know, I started playing in hardcore bands and
Yeah, I was gonna say hardcore.
yeah, like,
You
so I've been doing like, you know, yelling like an ass like since I was like, you know, like 13, 14 years old. And you know, with kind of like starts and fits in between, it's been pretty consistent. So over time, like, I don't know, it's terrible for my throat. And
yeah, imagine.
I,
Same
I
with all hardcore metal bands.
yeah, it's bad. Like recently, I've like only within the past couple of years, I've kind of like developed like a little bit of like technique and control. Um, but for years, I was like very much just like chewing lozenges and drinking tea and hoping for the best and
Yeah,
just like, yelling my head off. And like half the time, my voice would already be gone, and so I would be like I'd be like projecting just like broken vocal cords, and so the sound guy
yeah,
would have to turn me up, but like, you know, it would sound gnarly that way. But you know, these days I've got it like a little more down to a science. um
yeah,
but yeah, just like it's like literally the only thing I know how to do. So
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. Have you tried that Manuka honey? I've heard that's really good for screamers.
no, I never try it. I use
Mm.
like I use like slippery elm lozenges, and
Yeah,
like, and I use I drink like, you know, throat coat tea. I have taken like like a little thing of honey on stage and just like will like kind of put it next to an amp or something
yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
sneak like shots of honey kind of in between songs. I was doing that
yeah,
for a
yeah.
while. Now I kind of don't have to, but like
That's good.
whatever works, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, is it the breathing thing as well?
Yeah, yeah. Breathing is a very big deal.
Yeah,
Like catch breath whenever you can. Try not to sing so loudly, you know,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
a real challenge for me. But if I can like kind of like let the soundboard and let the PA do its job, then I'll hold on to my voice.
Yeah, yeah, and
Like,
they can make it louder and stuff without you
yeah, but like
killing
straight up,
yourself.
like behind me though, like, and like, you know, and like the monitors in front of me, Ben's always so fucking loud that like I can't hear
Yeah,
myself, and so I'm like I'm trying to compete with Ben's volume, which is, I
yeah,
mean, that's
yeah,
kind of like that's the story of our band. Really, is just like us trying to like play over each other, and to
yeah.
fucking infinity, and it just winds up being a world of shit. But anyway, like,
But it actually works. Funnily enough, like it's almost like a crazy battle. Like
it
this,
has been
like
definitely.
it's like this industrial noise, like carnage battle between the two. Like he's like, no, I'm louder. No, I'm fucking louder. Like, and it works because like it works with the sound. It works with the lyrics. Like, and you get that sense of like you know, fury because you're both like, come on. But like, you guys are both really nice and really friendly people. You know what I
You're
mean?
nice, thank
But
you.
once,
Yeah.
but once you get on stage, it's like, get out of my way, you know, and like really, you know, it's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. And yeah, I was really lucky just to be able to see that show that I was there at the time because you know, getting bands to come to Australia isn't any easy feat.
Yeah,
So
no, totally. That was a good
yeah,
show too. I
so
remember like that Knifed Out of Existence played, and yeah, that was cool. I remember the PA was really loud there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was mega loud. Yeah, it's always like a what do you call it? Like mixed bag,
Mm-hmm.
depending on who's playing. Like I can't even remember who played with you now, but I remember I saw Pharmacon there, and it was like so loud, but it was amazing, and it
Yeah.
was just like yeah, it was just like mind exploding because she was really loud and then the PA was like next level loud. So everyone was just like fucking in this like,
Yeah.
but for her music, yeah, it works. And it was like you felt like you were like inside the like this weird vortex of vocal with her.
Yeah.
Because that's the way it was. But yeah, no, it was really good. And I just listened yesterday to the new single that you just released. Is it the Awakening? Is that what it was called?
Oh, the Adult Swim thing for yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, that was the last
yeah,
one.
yeah. And I was like listening to it and being like, yeah, it reminded me of it's silly enough. It reminded me of like early Nine Inch Nails. You know the God is Dead, no one
Yeah.
cares. That's what it kind of reminded me of. It probably has nothing to do with that, but like when I heard it, I was like, yeah, because you know I'm a pretty staunch atheist, so
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, I love it. I was like, I hate God too. Like, you know, so I was like, yeah, I really like that. I was like, yeah, that's badass. But like everything you've kind of like done over the years has kind of progressed more and more and like tighter and tighter. Like you can definitely see that. Um, are you still playing with the drummer?
Yes. Yeah. Mike
Yeah.
Sharp. Greg Fox played on the last record. He played in like Liturgy, XI, and like does like a ton of studio work. He's like, you know, the craziest, like one of the craziest drummers in the world. Mike Sharp, from Texas, he played in a bunch of power violence bands and punk bands. He played in Hatred Surge. He plays in Impalers. He's like,
Yeah.
and he does like a bunch of like psych work. Um, he plays drums on the new record, and he's like a permanent member of the band now.
Yeah.
And yeah, he that single was the sorry, my dog's being a little crazy. That single
No,
was the
I
first
like
thing.
Bring it over. Bring it over. Everyone's
Lou.
been bringing their dogs in.
There we go. Lou. Lou.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah,
cute.
he can't decide whether or not he wants to be with me or be with my partner.
Right.
In the
He's
bedroom.
having a cry.
Yeah. But yeah, Sharp's first the first track he did with us was Awakening, that Adult Swim thing. But we just finished a record with him kind of before this COVID shit went down. And the I think the first single for that's going to be coming out in like a week or two. So
awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome to hear. Because I know when you first added the drama component, that there was a little bit of backlash.
A little bit.
Yeah, people being like, that was better without a drummer. And like, there was a lot of that. I saw it online and was just like, you haven't even given it a fucking go yet. You know what I mean? You haven't even given it a chance to evolve and you're already writing it off. But yeah, I mean, obviously just, I haven't seen the live version, but like, you know, the audio version is great. I mean, it adds an extra element, like, you know, and it kind of frees you guys up with what you're doing as well on stage.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the idea. And I feel like for The Long Walk, the record that we did before this one, which is the first record with drums, we kind of, we let it be more of like an organic band than anything else. Like we didn't, there's very little in the way of electronics involved. And so there was backlash around that. We've just gotten better with how we use electronics. So all of the stuff that was present for like our earlier records, like that's all in the new record, but there's also drums. So it's like you can't win them all, but you know, which means we're probably just like fucked up the drum thing and fucked up the electronics thing for this one. So I don't know, maybe it's real bad, but we'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, no, like, I mean, yeah, I didn't, when that happened, I was like, I could see the reasoning, and I don't think it affects the music at all. So I'm looking forward to hearing the newer album with like this, you know, your permanent drummer, and seeing like now that you've got like a connection going, rather than like having a session person. Because I was like really into like, obviously, you know, like Perfect World, Ghost House, Waking Fright. They were all really great, you know, and you know, and Long Walk was great too. Like, so yeah, it's all, I've liked it all. So for me, it's just like, oh, it's an extra layer. Awesome.
Yeah.
Like, let's see how it works. You know what I mean? Is that me repeating? I was hearing myself talking back to myself.
I hate when you get that feedback loop.
And I was like, no, stop.
Yeah.
Don't want to hear my voice.
Terrible.
Talking. Yeah, it's really bad. And what was I going to say? Yeah. And before, I mean, earlier we got into a conversation straight away. When we were just
Before we like signed on,
and yeah, one of the things that like was high on my list to talk about, which is non-music related, was horror. Because I love horror so much. And when I realized you were a horror fan, I was like, amazing. And I can also see now parts of that in like your music and also in like art and stuff that you use. But I know you like a bit more like, you're more of a gore horror person.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of, you know, like horror's been such like an integral part of like my like my life and like my cultural identity, like since I
Mhm.
was like a little kid. I feel like, art is kind of like a nebulous thing, and the shit that like I do with this could very well be like the same thing, like like someone who like writes a book or makes a movie or whatever. Like this just happened, like music just happens to be like the vehicle that like I I kind of like fell into. But horror and like kind of the the aesthetics around it, and the like the all of like the human complexities that it represents is like
Mm.
something tremendously important to me. And it's something that like, yeah, is consciously brought into pretty much all of our music. There, like, every record is like kind of rooted around a horror trope.
Yeah.
A lot of them are like taken from like names of like films or books or whatever. And I'll repurpose a lot of the ideas in them and try to like kind of um, turn it around to kind of speak to things going on in my life. Um, and like, yeah, man, like that's just like horror is my first and last love, like
Yeah.
I
Well,
like
it's sort of this. Have you seen? I'm assuming. This is might not be true, but
mm,
or might be a complete coincidence. But like Wake in Fright, is
mhm.
that named after the horror film Wake in Fright?
Yeah,
The
yeah, in the book,
The
yeah.
Australian one? Yeah.
Mhm.
I thought it was, and I was like, I need to ask if that is. It's such a fucked up movie in a
Yeah.
way, like, And I was like, I bet you it's about the Aussie film,
Mhm.
as well. And yeah, like I'm the same as you. Like I grew up watching horror and reading horror books from like a super young age. So
Yeah.
for me, like I guess like it was escapism from a really like I was having like my life was shit, and it was a way of like escaping into something that was even worse, but like comforting. And so
Yeah.
like I would turn to that, like, and I was like, you know, when I was like, 8 or 9, I was reading Stephen King books.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Same.
So like, and I was reading, and before, when I was little, it was like Goosebumps or whatever. But like, it was like straight up Stephen King, and I had like this never-ending shelf of Stephen King books, and like,
Totally.
and watched every single B-grade film about one of his books. And they're so
Yeah.
bad. Like every Stephen King film almost is just fucking terrible. And you're like, but like they're remaking The Stand, which I'm excited about to see if they can,
Yeah.
if they can do it, if they can do it. It'd be
I've seen
interesting.
talk of that for a while. I'm curious. Like
I
I
love the
like.
original, so
I
it's
mean,
like,
I tried watching it not like maybe like a few years ago, and a lot of like the '90s CGI is a little kind of rough to get through.
yeah. What's the thing?
Yeah.
It's all like it is all really. It has aged massively. Everything,
Yeah. Mm.
every film that was made, pretty much about, was an adaptation of his books, are all really quite bad.
So I mean,
you know,
there's a handful that I really love. Like I really love The Mist.
yeah,
I think The Mist is like the movie is better than the source material. Um,
yeah,
I I really love The Dead Zone.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I I I obviously like I Carrie kind of goes without saying, and The Shining goes without
yeah.
saying, even though like The Shining, takes certain liberties with the ending.
See,
But
this is how I know you're a proper horror nerd, because you know that. Because
yeah,
that's the Shining is the one film that Stephen King fucking hates with a passion.
yeah,
because it's not like the book at all.
It's not.
And him and Mick Garris from Fangoria remade it.
Yeah, the miniseries.
Yeah, and that was
Yeah.
meant to be like the book, and it was to the letter to the book.
Yeah.
But it was never gonna be popular because The Shining was too shocking, and everyone had already like fallen in love with that. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? So comparatively, they were like, I don't know what's this piece of shit, even though it was like what he really wanted.
yeah, I like the miniseries. I mean, and like this kind of happens with a lot of Mick Garris shit. Is just like it's a little kind of like overwrought, and it felt like a TV movie. You know, it felt like it was a miniseries, but it felt like a series of TV movies. Yeah, it's funny with Doctor Sleep, the the movie adaptation of it, because Stephen King gave Mike Flanagan his blessing to do it, and like in order to get that, he had to bring him the script, and the script, in order to it's a direct sequel to the movie of The Shining, as opposed to the book of The Shining. So there's this whole thing with the Overlook in there, and it's it's cool to hear Stephen King and read Stephen King interviews about how he's kind of come around to the Kubrick film. It's also weird if you ever have read Dance Macabre, he talks about how much he loves The Shining and Dance Macabre, and that was in the early 80s. I'm sure he's just coked out, kind of saying whatever, but
Changing his mind up and down.
When he decided to hate The Shining.
He came out and said that he approved the script for Doctor Sleep because it worked well, even though it's not his ideal, The Shining. It works with The Shining.
Totally.
So that's why he was like, fine.
Yeah. I mean, dude,
he's not stupid. He knows that The Shining, the Kubrick one's more popular, so I'm sure regardless of his opinion, he's gonna,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
it's even The Outsider was amazing. Did you watch that?
I read the book. I haven't watched the miniseries. I watched the first couple of episodes, but
it's amazing. It's got a really good Aussie actor,
yeah.
and it's really good. And it's the same as Mr. Mercedes. I started watching that and was getting really into it, the series.
Yeah.
As well. They were both actually done well.
Totally.
How is this? So I'm hoping, this stands test time. But
this is cool.
Hopefully. But anyway, I'm just a Stephen King fiend. And
did you like the new
I'm the biggest fangirl of all time. I want to go to Bangor, Maine just to stand at the front of his house before he sells it, and and accidentally not run him over, but go and somehow meet him.
He has a history of that. We played in Portland, Maine with Boris about a year ago or so, and I was trying to someone was suggesting that we go up to Bangor, and they were doing it in such a way that I thought it was an hour away or a half hour away. It was 6 hours away.
Yes, far. It's in the middle of only crazy fans are gonna go do that. Because there's nothing there either. It's tiny little village type thing, but really small. Really crazy. But I love that whole juxtaposition of horror and the way you bring it in into it, because I'm fascinated with that. And then I love the way that carnal prime and kind of primal energy that you bring vocally, and then also Ben brings with that. He always brings this kind of really angry thing with him, and like on stage he's quite scary, but he's not scary off stage, like I said. Neither of you are, but like
Yeah.
on stage, yeah, you're like mean machines, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
my god, you
And
know.
then you get to talking to us, and it's like, you're just the two most like boring, gangly little guys. Like, but yeah, no, Ben's great. Like, yeah, I don't know, our personalities aren't necessarily like our actual personalities aren't
Yeah,
necessarily
yeah,
like representative of like the stuff that we like making.
yeah,
Yeah,
which is quite common, I think,
yeah. I mean,
because
I don't know.
most people use it as like an outlet, so it's pretty common that it's coming from inside or wherever, so it's not necessarily your outward, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I
So
mean, I feel like I I've spent enough I spend enough time and energy like kind of dealing with like whatever like kind of negative parts of my internal life are going on, and that includes, you know, playing music or fucking talking shit out, whatever, that like I can meet human beings and not be a complete dickhead all of the time.
yeah,
um like, um I don't know what it would be like if I didn't play music or do something though. Like if, like you know, there were a couple of years in there where like I just didn't really fucking do anything,
yeah,
and those were really dark, like really destructive years. And so,
yeah,
you know, I don't want to go back to like a life without art of some sort. You know.
yeah. So how are you coping then now during this whole lockdown thing? Are
I
you
mean,
like doing stuff? Keep trying to keep
mhm.
yourself.
Yeah, Ben, like we've been working on some like kind of like long distance uniform stuff,
Oh,
a
cool.
little bit here and there. I'm finishing up a bunch of solo stuff right now. I was working on a couple of collab things. I'm doing a collab with Andrew Nolan from Intensive Care, and I'm working on some stuff with Thou.
Oh,
And
amazing. Did you
so
just
like
listen to that new album they dropped?
I haven't heard it yet.
Fucking hell. It's
Nirvana
a
covers,
whole
right?
album of no, it's fucking good. Like
I
really
bet it
good.
is.
I never
Yeah.
thought I would ever say that about anybody covering Nirvana. But they go from Bleach all the way through like the entire catalog. And that
Yeah.
oh, it's so good. At first I was like, oh, I don't know about this. Press play, you know, and then I was like, fuck, this rules. Like, and I was like, I reckon Kurt Cobain would fucking dig this, because it's
Yeah.
like almost like it's their Bleach sort of sound, but heavier.
Yeah, totally.
But for the whole catalog, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, like you and Thou, like, what would you be? What are you guys? How's that gonna work?
I'm not entirely sure. Like how it's worked so far is like I've written a couple of songs like with just like
Mm-hmm.
synth and drum machine stuff, and I've sent it to Brian, and they've kind of like toyed with stuff and sent it back to me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of where we're at now. And you know, it seemed like it was going to be like I was writing at like a pretty fast clip for a while,
Mm-hmm.
but then like I had some like a pretty significant family emergency go down, which kind of made everything stop for a couple of
Yeah,
months. So hopefully now it can get back to normal, you know, or you know,
yeah.
whatever normal looks like. But anyway, like as far as like lockdown and shit goes, like I miss like, you know, I miss playing shows, I guess. But I like being home, you know. I like being with my partner. I like being with my dog. I
Yeah.
I don't particularly, it's not that I don't like people. I like people a lot, but I'm really nervous in crowds. and I'm really nervous in social situations. And so,
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, my job, like when we're on tour, is to like be in social
Yeah,
situations like all the time,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that can feel that can be really intense for me. And so
and
I've
draining,
just
I
been,
imagine.
yeah, I've just been, I don't get bored, you know. I've got TV, I've got books, I've got fucking synthesizers. I've got like, I've got my family here. Like, you know, it's, if I wasn't so worried about fucking eventually losing my mind or like going straight up fucking broke, I would
Mm.
be totally happy not leaving my 1 bedroom apartment like ever again. I
Yeah,
just don't give a
yeah.
shit.
A lot of people are saying the same thing. Like when it first happened, I was like, like, and I'm a such a hermit, and it takes like a lot. It takes a lot to get me to leave the house,
Yeah.
and it's usually for bands. Like that's what makes me leave the house. And I'd much prefer to be at home, watch movies by myself,
Totally.
whatever. When you know, and it was kind of like, oh yeah, this is all right. And then I'd been doing that for quite a few months, like since I finished my job, my full-time
Yeah.
job. And then so I've just been chilling in that. And then COVID happened. I was like, fuck, this is like adding 6 months to my nothingness. So
Yeah.
now I'm at like peak, like, oh, like what haven't I watched? What haven't I, you know what I mean? I've got a
Yeah.
ton of books that I've ordered and shit that I'll to read, and like doing all these interviews and like heaps of stuff. I'm like trying to keep myself busy and stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna struggle, I think, when I have to actually go to work. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be like I'm still not ready for like to go anywhere in public yet. Like I still wear a mask and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I'm not ready to like go and sit in a restaurant yet, and I'm certainly not ready to go and like stand in a crowd and watch a band yet.
I mean,
I just don't trust
we'll,
other people.
yeah, I mean, I've kind of made some concessions for like for protest stuff, you know, of course.
Mm.
You know, just over here that is like a very major and kind of like important thing. And kind
Yeah.
of because of this family emergency I had, like I couldn't be physically present for it for a while. Um, and like, yeah, you know, with COVID, it's like it's a little freaky, but it's worth it. And I find that it's something that I've like kind of gotten. I've crossed like kind of like an emotional threshold with it to the point that
Yeah.
now it's like I wear a mask everywhere, and like I'm not fucking, you know, I'm not out here like shaking hands or hugging anybody, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm also like not. I'm not. I take it very seriously, but I'm not like paralyzed by it. I'm.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I'm not.
I mean, a lot of shit here is still closed, and like,
Yeah.
you know, we're still in restrictions and stuff here at the moment. So it's like we've only just passed like the first one, which is like you can have 5 visitors to your house.
Okay.
And restaurants can open,
Mm-hmm.
like, but they have to own 20 people plus maximum, and they all have to be sat apart, and it's all like booked only. And like
Yeah.
you can go to a pub, but you have to have food. You can't just drink. So there's
Yeah.
like all these, you know, little things. So I'm just like, everyone else can test the waters, and then, you know, next month sometime I'll go out maybe and have a little look. But at the moment I have no need. It's like I can just order everything I want online. Like, why do
Yeah.
I need to go anywhere? Like at the moment, you know what I mean? Unless I need to, like, it's like, yeah, I don't go anywhere except like sometimes I'll go to the supermarket or the doctor's or something, and that's it. Like, and the rest
Yeah.
of the time I'll chill.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, trying to fit as much like stuff that I've been wanting to do in. And like I said, I've like just ordered like the 2 Stephen King books. I just ordered a ton of Shirley Jackson that I haven't read, and like, you know, tons of books to read.
Yeah.
So
Did you watch
making
the
my
Shirley Jackson movie yet?
yes, yeah.
How is it?
What did you think? Oh,
I
have you
haven't
not?
watched it yet.
Okay, yeah. I'm actually in the middle of doing a review of it, but like well, I mean, the thing is, it's really misleading because it's not it's it's being told as a biopic, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually fiction. It's
Yeah,
based
that's
on
what I heard.
yeah, it's based on a book by I can't remember the
Yeah.
author, and she wrote it, and it's all fiction. So what she, you know, like the film is good, but then
Mm-hmm.
you kind of feel like how much of this is true, like,
Yeah.
and is it like really fair, I guess, to
It's like
make
a
a film
relationship drama, right?
with it? Yeah, and like the assumptions that she's making about their relationship, and you know, she didn't know this woman, and you know, that kind of thing. It kind of feels a little weird, some of the things, because and there's a lot of weird things in the timeline, like she died when she was 45,
Yeah.
and she also had children, which is not mentioned at all in the film.
Weird.
But like, and there's, you know, like there's a few things that are pretty clear, which is like her husband was openly cheating on her her whole life, time they were together. But
Yeah.
like, and a lot of the stuff to do with her specifically writing books is like very clear. But yeah, it is fiction, so you got to kind of go in there with a bit of an open mind, and you can kind of see she's trying to make a thriller. Like, she's almost trying to write a Shirley Jackson film. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so she turns it into like kind of like a character from a book of Shirley's, is the kind of like this secret narrator, but visually rather than audibly. And yeah, so it kind of works. But yeah, then the ending, I don't know, the ending's kind of a little lackluster. It's
Okay.
definitely worth watching. Like the just for the character, like just, you know, for I've forgotten her name now. She's really good. The Handmaid's Tale lady. Um,
Oh, Emma Stone.
no,
No, not Emma fucking Stone. Duh. Why
not
am I?
Emma Stone.
Yeah,
You know,
whatever. Yeah.
the weird looking one, the bland one. She's usually quite bland looking.
The
Like,
woman who was
I
in
don't
the
mean that
woman
in
who
a
was in
bad
Invisible
way.
Man. Yeah.
What's
I,
that?
this is the Scientologist woman. I'm forgetting her name right now as well.
She was in Invisible Man.
Yeah.
The Invisible Man, yeah. Her. But her, like, just it's worth it just to see like the way she transforms and the way she's just nailing it with everything she does lately. And like
Yeah.
in this, she's 100% the like brings the film. Like she
Yeah.
holds the film up. Elizabeth Moss, yeah, that's right.
Elizabeth Moss.
People
Okay.
are
Yeah.
writing down below.
I knew it was an ES of some sort.
Yeah, you got close.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's like a woman with a name. I got that.
Yeah. So you had E.
Yes.
um. Yeah. So yeah, but just for her performance alone, it's worthwhile because
Yeah.
it's like next level the way she just transforms into that person. So yeah,
She
it's
kind of
definitely
looks like
worthwhile.
Shirley Jackson, like in real
She
life.
does the way, yeah. I think she put on a little bit of weight and stuff, and like I said, just the blandness, like of her. She's very. There's nothing necessarily spectacular or like any features that stand out. Like,
Yeah.
so it works. Is like it really works. She can easily be transformed into different shit. You know.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is yeah, we were talking about black metal earlier. And how we like it, and then also all the complexity surrounding it, like you know, with full on racists and Nazis and homophobes and you were saying, you know, Burzum, you have a problem with Burzum, and I have a big problem with Burzum as well. And it's like, I like Mayhem, and I feel incredibly guilty if I listen to any Mayhem when Varg was in it. I have this like internal guilt, like I don't want to listen to the ones where he's in it. And Burzum particularly, like, I mean, when I was in the UK, like every second person was wearing a Burzum shirt and was like, yeah, Burzum, Burzum. And I was like, I've listened to the music and whatever, but I can't see.
Yeah.
I can't see past him. You know what I mean? It's like he's a spoiled white brat. And, you know, he's this like racist, misogynist, homophobic, like crazy man. And like when I'm still surprised. I can't believe that he got out of jail so quickly, like after he killed, you know, your own mess. And that's just the way it is in their country. Like you only have to serve like this a short time. And you know, and then of course he started his YouTube channel. I don't know if you ever saw it. Like, what the fuck is that? It's like a cult. Like, he has, like, this wife with a bazillion children and this never-ending arsenal of guns. And he's just, like, shooting shit and then, like, spouting out all this terrible hate. Yeah. And I'm like, and people just, like, ignore it. Like, not the same thing. Varg and Burzum are not the same thing. Like, you know? Yeah. And it's kind of like, yeah, but he went too, like, he's too far for me to be able to listen to. Like, it's like, no, he's too much of a shit human. I can't listen.
Yeah, he is objectively one of the worst human beings living and breathing on the face of planet Earth. He's fucking horrible. And I have a very complicated, you know, it shouldn't be fucking complicated, but it is. And I think it's important that like you wrestle with this shit if you're gonna fucking let it into your life at all. You know?
Yeah.
I grew up on black metal. Black metal is something that's like very important to me. And you know, for years, like, I accepted the fact that, like, you know, just extreme music is made by extreme personalities. And, like...
Someone's just written he's the Morrissey of metal.
Yeah,
You know what, though? That's the thing. I have a problem with Morrissey. Like, I love Morrissey and the Smiths. And I'm so just bummed out every time Morrissey does something stupid. Like, it's like... Yeah. Damn, like he's such a good songwriter. Why do you have to be such a dick?
I mean, it happens. Like, you know, like people with tremendous amounts of talent are like pieces of shit, you know? Like,
yeah, well, especially when they get money and they descend from the class that they were in into upper class. A perfect example is Kate Bush. Yeah, totally. Everyone loves Kate Bush, but she is like the most conservative, like she's like bad in terms of her politics and everything when it comes, you know, and it's like, you know, she speaks out about stuff. She's really not interested in anything that's not in her level. It's like, I don't want to be taxed because I'm rich.
Yeah.
You know, like.
I mean, dude, they got that. Like, look at fucking like, I would never, if I had the opportunity to go in a time machine and hang out with Henry Miller, I wouldn't do that at this point in my life because it's not representative of like things that like I like. He's like antithetical to like significant portions of my value system, but I'll read that shit and like you know, I love it. But like, yeah, man, when it comes to black metal, I have a much harder time giving it the pass than I used to, like across the board. I still, you know, like I still listen to kind of like to whatever, and I like I feel fucked up about it sometimes. Um, to me, it's like you would never catch me wearing like a fucking Burzum or fucking Graveland shirt, or like talking about how you should just kind of like give these guys a pass because you really shouldn't. And I can kind of like accept like sonic extremes for what they are. However, I would never in a billion years do anything that would allow these people to get money. You know, like
Yeah,
like I wouldn't buy a fucking record. I wouldn't
yeah,
stream,
yeah,
you know. And like if people have a problem with their shit, or anybody listening to their shit, like that's up to them. And like that they should. Like it's totally understandable if like somebody goes like, no man, like, you know, they just got good riffs. Like you don't have to like them as a person, but like you have to like admit like Philosophy smokes, and it's like that doesn't like that's some like white dude shit to like be able to like
yeah,
sit here and say, where it's like
yeah.
I I was in a conversation with my friend Rob Lowe, who's a musician who lives around here, and he's a person of color, and we were talking about this the other day, and he's just like, yeah, you know, I used to like that record until I realized that guy would fucking kill me. And it's like,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
like, yeah, like fuck him. It's like, oh yeah, you know, like so like it's one thing for me to be on this like whole like separate the artist from the art from the artist tip, like, you know,
yeah, yeah.
like I'll never wear a Burzum shirt. It's like, yeah, but like how do you choose to fucking engage with it, you know? And like do you make excuses for it? And like I'm just like I don't know. I'm at a point in my life where I find it, you know, especially now when like there's like I've I've been just kind of steadily trying to be as aware of like the fact that I am a white dude, and like
Yeah, yeah.
I like my experiences are not representative of the experiences of like I
Brothers,
don't know,
yeah.
like most of the fucking people in the world. And so when people say that like, hey, something's fucked up or something bothers them, like to like believe them about it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And, and so like, you know, like I spend less time listening to Combat 84. And you
Yeah.
know, um, yeah, yeah, you know, it's an important thing to like kind of come to terms with, you know, and like I don't want to be that fucking dude who like, you know, goes around saying like, no, it's okay to fucking like listen to sketch shit, or
Yeah.
to be like, hey, like, you know, like don't talk about that here, but like I'll talk to you about it like when we're not on camera,
No,
you know, like it's a
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
it's a secret. It's like, no man,
Yeah, yeah.
fuck that. Like just be open about your shit. And if somebody challenges you on your shit, then like, dude, maybe your shit should be challenged.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And like
I don't
also be like aware of like the like you said, the different points of view and the different discourse
yeah.
for that art. Like, you know, you listen to I mean, even me, like as a white woman, I'm not particularly loved by black metal bands.
Mm-hmm.
You know
No.
what I mean? Like, you know, there's you know, there's a culture in metal in general that's very anti women and very misogynistic and that kind of thing. And then you know, sometimes I struggle with that because I'm like, I'm listening to this, but he's kind of saying like, you know, that women are like a piece of shit, like in you know, like a piece of meat, like and all this sort of stuff, and you're like you like kind of go, yeah, yeah, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, and like when I was younger, a perfect example of this is like I was really, really like crazy feminist, like when I was a teenager, like really full on. And I had a friend who loved Cradle of Filth,
Mm-hmm.
and I banned her from wearing. She had this Cradle of Filth T-shirt that said "Dead girls don't say no" on the back,
Mm-hmm.
and I banned
Clever.
her from wearing it whenever she
Mm-hmm.
was with me. I was like, I'm not going out with you if you're going to wear that fucking shirt. And she'd be like, come on. And I'd be like, no, change your shirt. I'm not going anywhere with you wearing that shirt.
Yeah.
But I was just like, it's disgusting. And it's like so offensive. Like, not only to me, but I was like, I think I'm a little old school like that. Like, I would never, like, I got lots of t-shirts with like questionable things on them.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, it's like sometimes I'll go out and forget that I'm wearing it and then see some poor lady absolutely horrified, you know, like, or some old man staring at me weird. And I'm like, what's he staring at? And then I'm like, oh, actually, no wonder. Like, so I'm trying as I get older to be much more, like, I don't know, and understanding about, like, you might think it's cool, but like sometimes there's a time and a place, and maybe not like at the family Kmart's not the best place to drop some like t-shirt with an ass and or someone giving head or whatever the fuck it is, like all this
Yeah.
BDSM shit t-shirts, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not the best place to do it, so I've gotten a bit smarter about that.
Yeah. I remember, you know, and I think about this a lot. Um, you know, I was definitely part of that, like, you know, like late 90s to like through like 2010 fucking white hardcore dude wearing Death in June shirt every day. Like,
Yeah,
I was that guy. And like, you know, it's like, I never thought twice about it. And a lot of it was like this, like intentional kind of like button pushing, like in the back of my head. And, you know, there's a lot of like he creates like a lot of like plausible deniability, or whatever. And so you'd hear these arguments like
yeah,
for against in June forever, what the fuck ever. It's not about that. But like fact is, what's very real is like I'm on the New York City subway wearing a t-shirt with a Totenkopf on it
yeah,
and doing it like all of the time. I live in New York, and like, you know, how many fucking like, you know, old Jewish people saw this dude walking around wearing a fucking Totenkopf on his shirt, not
yeah.
thinking a thing of it, and like, what did that possibly make them feel? You know, like how many, and like that's, you know, in like 2006 or so, if you were to like say that to me, I would just say you're fucking uptight.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I mean, I
uh,
think back when I was a teenager, that's what I got. Like,
yeah,
oh, you're just uptight, like feminist bitch, you know, like whatever, like, you know.
yeah,
And I was like, no, like, do you not realize what you're projecting at
no,
all, you know?
totally.
And like, but you know, I think, like you said, with age, you start to realize.
It's like, I mean, the fucking, you know, the Nazi boogeyman like turned into a very real thing.
Mm,
There, you know,
yeah,
like right wing populism is no fucking joke, you know. And like I grew up like, you know, like there were like Nazi skinheads around,
yeah,
like shows for a bit and stuff. Like they were like in the mix when I was a kid, but they were very much kind of like the other. And you know, and they would get like beat up and chased out of places. But
yeah,
you know, then they kind of like seemed to disappear for a long time, and it was just this aesthetic thing. And then the next thing you know, fucking Donald Trump election, it gets elected president, and like the
yeah,
whole like like the far right populism just became a very um like it just became more open and real. And it's like, you know, the more you like normalize, like, hey, like, you know, fucking wearing a Death in June shirt isn't a big deal, or like, you know, fucking like repping fucking Burzum isn't a fucking big deal, in like a public setting, the more like that you allow, like that's a Trojan horse for like these real fucking people to come in, because like,
Yeah.
you know, these people, like, they're not getting kicked out of fucking Death in June shows, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like you have to realize that when you're going to like these events, when you're buying these records, when you're like you're rubbing elbows with people who hold like fucking dangerous viewpoints, and like it might seem like fucking dress up to you, but for somebody else it's very real politics. And like you do have to decide what fucking like what side you're gonna be on, you know. You can't just like flirt with this shit and like expect no consequence. So or think that you're not going to do any damage, because you do. Like we all do. Like you have to like look back and like be willing to admit that, like, yeah, like you fucked up and like you caused harm. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Like I mean, not that long ago, I went to a person's house and that I'd never met before, who was promoting a show. And when I walked, me and my friend walked into the lounge room, there was a fully like human-sized replica in complete SS. Yeah.
Oh.
And the horror on my face was like, what the fuck? Why would you collect that? Why do you want this? Like, you know, and he was like, I don't know the obsession. And like, you know, the person claimed they weren't racist, that they weren't, you know, they whatever, they were, you know, liked the like collecting stuff from there. I mean, but it was a full mannequin in like it must have cost fucking a lot of money. And to put that in your lounge room as like a focus piece when people walk in, like I'm not Jewish, and I'm not like, you know, but immediately to me it was like red flag. Like, why would you want that in your house to stare at? You know what I mean? Oh, we're getting the minute 55 warning. So if we cut out, we'll switch back on.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and I was like, why the hell would you want that in your house? Like, and it's the first thing you see, and you're just like, fuck, like, and it's like, oh, how amazing is this? And you're like, and you're trying to be like, not amazing, no.
Yeah.
Like, imagine how someone who's like a survivor or a survivor's family member, like how they would feel if they knew people like bought this stuff and had it there as a collection, like a, you know, like it's a fun thing to have. Like it's very different to like, you know, like Motorhead, like, you know, he collected hats and different things and that from the war, like, which is still a little weird to me that people want to do that. But like a whole fucking mannequin dressed in full uniform that he, like, nah. I was just like, that's not cool at all. How the fuck did you even get that? And no one, you know, even remotely went like, hey, that's a bit weird. Like, how the fuck did he even get it here? You know, it's crazy.
Dude.
I'm gonna hang up and then come back.
Okay.
We don't get
cool.
cut.
I'll join you in a second. Cool.
Yeah, you will. All
right, see you in a second.